What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Zach and Pat Show. I'm Zach.
I'm Pat.
This is the show about manhood, fatherhood, entrepreneurship, and the mentality it takes to be successful at those things. And we'll probably sprinkle in some helpful real estate advice too, because that's what Pat and I do. You know, guys, life can be tough. We can go through some things and struggle at times, but this is the show to let you know that you're not alone. So if you're someone out there going through any of these things, this is the show for you.
All right, guys, let's talk about something we all need. High quality, comfortable, stylish clothing that actually holds up in real life. Whether you're grinding at work, hitting the gym, or just hanging out, the Normal brand has you covered. I've been rocking their gear, and let me tell you, it's not your average clothing line. They've nailed it perfect with the perfect blend of durability, comfort, style, whether it's a go-to rugged Henley, a hoodie, a button-down that doesn't make you feel like a stiff, the Normal brand is where it's at. The best part is you can support the show while upgrading your wardrobe. Just hit the link in the description below. Check out their collection. Trust me, once you try it, you'll wonder why you didn't do it sooner. The Normal brand. Made for real life, built to last. Now go check them out.
Shout out to our friends over at Captain Beard Co. Guys, if you are looking for beard care products, shampoo, conditioner, body wash, give Captain Beard Co. a try. They have this unbelievable beard butter, balm, oils, and then it smells amazing. Ladies, if you're looking for something for your men as a gift to help with their grooming, check them out. Also, if you guys are looking to just set the mood one night, candles, unbelievably smelling candles, made with all natural ingredients here locally to St. Louis. Give them a shot. Also, while you're there, use the promo code Zach and Pat for 10% off your purchase.
Hey there, guys. We really appreciate you checking out the Zach and Pat Show. If you can obviously tell, we are a newer podcast, but one way we're really trying to grow the show is trying to get up the amount of subscribers we have. So, you know, if you're watching the show and you're getting something out of it, we'd really appreciate it if you could click that subscribe button. That would help us out a ton. Please click that button. And now back to the show.
We have a very special guest in studio today. He is one of my very, very good friends. Meeting him about 6 years ago really changed my life. He got me on the path and took me under his wing back in early 2020, showed me the ropes with real estate, and meeting him, it was one of those relationships where it truly changed my life. He is a luxury real estate agent out in Sacramento, California, the great and powerful Alex Fairbanks.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Dude, I'm so happy you came
pumped.
in town. It was kind of like a last minute thing, and this is perfect. Feel like it's been forever since we've gotten to hang, and I'm just so pumped we get to hang out this weekend.
It's been a good week for you. First Kyle,
Yeah.
now Alex.
Yeah,
You're two big guys.
I'm getting some great guests.
Yes.
For me. This has been amazing. But Alex, for the people out there that don't know you, can you give us like a little bit of a rundown of who you are?
Sure. So I was originally born and raised in Northern Illinois, and a really small town. Graduated a class of like 27 kids. It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's small.
Yeah, it was. It was like drive your tractor to school day, and
Got the shotguns and the
kids would leave early to go fencing. It's
Fencing?
Like they put fences in. Yeah.
No, not like fencing, but
Yeah.
like building fences.
Building fences.
The real deal. Yeah. But and then I went to school at SIUE right across the street here from St. Louis. And then I got my real estate license halfway through college. And then, so I did 2 years part-time, I always say cut my teeth and learn the ropes. And then did 2 years full-time. And then just as I was transitioning out of St. Louis, that's when you and I had met.
Yeah.
And just as much as, I've impacted you, you really impacted me too. So, and to see you grow, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, really is beautiful.
What a cute, special moment.
I know, dude. I'm
really
like,
is.
it is. I'll get
Yeah.
this
This is
torn
awesome.
up.
For real,
Like,
dude.
This is awesome, man.
It legitimately, like meeting you, Connor introduced us to each other. Meeting you definitely like changed kind of the course of my life, dude. I met you at a time where, I had just gotten my real estate license, but like I didn't know what the fuck to do. I had no direction with it. I just got the license, and because like that's what they don't tell you when people think, I would imagine, like when you get your real estate license, like you're gonna have this like
you're ready to go.
Like
Take the test.
Take the test.
Money
You're
next.
You're closing deals the next day.
Yeah.
Like no, you take the
You don't
test.
you learn the bullshit that
Yeah.
doesn't really, that you're never going to use again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and then you learn that, and then you're like, okay, go figure it out.
Have fun.
And like, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do.
Mhm.
And then I was working with my grandma, and my grandma's in her, she's still a licensed agent in her
Yep.
80s. But she's like on the, she's just doing it, deals that come in, and she's not like, actively out hungry looking for, looking for deals, kind of, and she's definitely kind of behind the times on some things, like, still handwriting contracts and stuff. And, and then Connor found that out and he's like, no, you need to go talk to my buddy, Alex. He's gonna show you, the ropes. And then, that first year, you and I mean,
we were moving.
Dude, we were moving, bro.
Yeah.
We talked, we were talking on the phone pretty much every day.
Yep.
We were, I feel like I really got to know you like super quick. I mean,
Big
you
time.
and I would spend hours on the phone every day. Like you'd fucking show me what to do, how to make these calls. Like we were 3-way calling like every client.
Dude.
Like it was a lot. I mean, a lot of
Yeah.
work for you. And it now, like looking back on it now, it makes me realize like how much work it was that you put in and like invested all this time into me.
Yeah.
And, you and I ran deals together really for like that first year. And then, and then kind of turned into more of a referral thing once I kind of got my feet underneath me. And,
And now here you are. And I can't believe it's 6 years ago too.
Right?
Isn't that crazy?
That part's quiet.
Dude, it's crazy. It's like a completely, I mean, 6 years. I mean, millions of dollars of real estate sold. And like, it's been quite the journey. And then you, I mean, and seeing how much you've grown in California, like to the houses you're selling now. And we were just talking about your $2.5 million listing that's about to come on.
Yep.
Like it's a castle.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
It's amazing, man. Well,
Hey, if we want to take this back even further, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have the show. Because you and I never would have met.
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Although, so Zach took the biggest bet though, right? I mean, you took a huge bet on yourself. And one thing I will say is that, and my coaches have told me this as well, is that not everybody is like us. And Pat, you're obviously included in this as well. It's like, we're just, we're hungry. We move forward. We take bets on ourselves and, we fail forward.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cause I mean, you've attempted to, you've built a team, you've hired and, hired and gotten rid of a few people, you realize that not everybody has the same kind of drive and work ethic as you do.
Yeah.
And, it's hard to replicate that. And like people are, definitely not everybody has the same drive. And especially in this industry, you need to have that drive and that why and that, that reason to move forward and want to keep pursuing deals. And, because it's a tough business to be in. Like it's very
especially now
cutthroat.
with and even for you on the lending side, man, the rates the way they're going. Because when I got in the business, 2015, it was very bull market, right? Rates were like 5%. Everything's good. It takes about 30 to 60 days to sell a house, no problem. Then moved to California. You and I start working together. You're working in the hottest market here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
I'm working in a cutthroat fast market in Sacramento, and then rates go from 5 to 2 to 7.
Yeah.
All within
like a year.
Yeah, and then
That's
now
insane.
they're still hanging up there, like you were saying, 6 to 8. I'm like,
we've got this week's been rough on rates, man. We've seen rates go up anywhere from 3/8 to 0.75%. Those damn fucking tariffs, man. Yeah, we didn't know how they were going to react and how they was going to happen. Well, now we do, and it's been hasn't been the best for us so far. In terms of interest rates and mortgages. So
but I would take a St. Louis price over a California price, dude. I'm telling you.
How many investors do we have between the two of us that are from the coast that are
quite a
buying
few.
shit up here left and right?
Well, you got the one from Rockland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a small world.
dude. That's so small.
Yeah.
I haven't need to check in with him.
Is that Matt?
No, that's this guy's named Tommy.
Okay.
Tommy.
Tommy Two Tones.
No, oh shit. Like I haven't. His company is I Love Real Estate, and so it's I haven't saved as Tommy I Love Real Estate in my phone. So, but no, he's a good dude. They've I haven't checked in with him in a little bit, but what was like the biggest transition for you moving from, and what ultimately, I might ask some questions I know the answers to, but what ultimately was like the reason you moved from the Midwest to Sacramento?
So, as you guys know, born and raised Northern Illinois, school Southern Illinois, 30 minutes across the river, St. Louis. So I was kind of in like this Midwest circle. And my sister was traveling with her husband for his job. He's in the Navy. And then my parents, they had retired to Costa Rica. And I was just kind of like, what is like my next step? And I had purchased that condo in Bridgeton, which was a blessing. And that was like the largest check I had ever written at that time. It was right out of college, bought it for $40,000. And trust me, like you would live there, you let your grandma live there, nice place.
Yeah.
And then flipped it, sold it for 80. And then it was in this transition time where I was like, I had Lee, who's been on the podcast before, I was going to buy his duplex down in Fox Park. And I was like, okay, this is going to build my portfolio. We've been doing the podcast, doing real estate, ready to actually do it. And then, but before this, if we backtrack to, it was right when I was graduating college. So I had my license for 2 years. I was selling, I was doing okay. And I was at Sotheby's. So everybody was, a lot of love at and for Sotheby's. Dealman here in town. They definitely brought me up, and a lot of the big agents there, I got to work under that, ultimately, I got followed through, and now we're closing deals with them. And so all that's really a beautiful thing. But I was with Sotheby's for the 2 years, and then I met a gentleman at an open house here in Hazelwood. He was looking for a condo for his daughter. His name is Paul Rogers. And he was on the Oprah Winfrey show. And Paul is great. Yeah. Paul, so I met Paul at the open house, and he is a preacher of financial literacy, right? So he always pitches Rich Dad, Poor Dad, corporate ladder, all that. And I just finished Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and he asked me a few questions, and he was like, and I nailed him. He's like, you're a sharp cat, man. He's like, you should take your show to California. It's like, just graduated college. I was like, I think I'm staying here. I'm going to buy a condo. And then after, so I flew out actually to shadow him, and I shadowed his open house system that, you and I use still today.
Yeah.
And and he pitched me on coaching, and I couldn't afford it because, that wasn't there. And then ended up coming back, worked for the other 2 years, bought my condo. That's when, again, bought it for 40. Sold it for 80. I was going to buy Lee's duplex. And then I was sitting there, and when I met Paul, I put Paul on my phone as Paul Rogers Life Changer, just like from the open house.
Yeah.
And so I called him up, and I was like, hey man, I was like, is that coaching thing still on the table? Like, can we do that? And he said, yeah. So I ended up, I stroked him a check for 20 grand, and I sold my condo and moved out there, and lived with him and his wife for a year. And that year was like the biggest impact.
Yeah. And then pretty much right when you moved out there is when
COVID hit.
Yeah.
Right when
you and I met.
Yeah.
And then I went, so you and I had never actually met in person. We had talked on the phone pretty much every day for a month or two.
Yeah.
And then eventually
you flew out.
Yeah. You were like, dude, you got to come out here and shadow us.
Yep.
Learn how to do the open houses and just take a chance. And that was like,
and you were waiting tables.
Yeah.
You were like, stressing on buying the plane ticket,
bro. Yeah.
and I'm like, just do it,
dude. I like at that point in my life, I pretty much spent, I had zero financial literacy. I spent every dollar I made. I mean, I wasn't making very much. I mean, I was, everything I made.
You were
was
raking
cash.
it in, dude.
Sure,
he's a good server.
Sure. But I mean, I was, I was not smart with my money. I pretty much spent every dollar I made. Like, it was not, I didn't have any sort of savings. Like, between me and Gino, we had, maybe a few grand in the bank. Like, that was about it. And like, so if something serious happened, we were fucked, and, flew out there. And, at the time, like, I had never met you in person, and I'm going to go stay with Paul, who I'd talked on the phone, probably 10, 20 times. And
he's like, I promise these people are real.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
that's
how it felt for me too. I was like, okay. I was like, I'm moving in and here. And
this guy's gonna come over. Yeah, no, but like Gino was like, dude, are you sure? Like, these people are like, okay, like, you're gonna go just like fly out, people you hang out, spend a weekend with these people you've never met, and ended up being like one of the best weekends of my life. Like, changed. And I think I went out there for like 3-4 days. I think it was like a Thursday to Monday kind of deal. And
well, before I go, let me up my life insurance policy
just in case. Yeah, dude,
That's
I didn't even
funny.
have a life insurance policy at the time. Like, yeah, and flew out there with you guys. Hung out with you and Paul for the weekend, and we flew Logan out too. Logan that was crazy. That was another weird
he's crushing
thing.
it too. Now.
He's crushing it, dude.
Yeah.
Him and I refer deals all the time, back and forth
over the river.
him and I think he probably closed anyway.
Golf.
Yeah, golf. Yeah, he's great.
He was my roommate in college.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just
him
like
and I have
coincidence.
done a couple deals together because he's good friends with my ex-wife's boyfriend.
Cool.
Yeah. So connect between your connection and then that connection and then Zach.
Dude,
he's referred me. He referred over a couple deals on that side of the river.
Yeah, he's great. But yeah, it was so funny. So I was like, okay, well, me and this guy are gonna go out, and he knows Alex, so he must be real. So Logan and I flew out there, and then and spent the weekend with you guys and learned how to do the open houses. It was my first time ever to California, and that it was just a great weekend. And like after, I remember coming home from that, and I was just like felt like a different person.
Really,
like just because it's like it's that whole you are who you surround yourself with. And I was like, whoa, like I just spent a whole weekend with like two very successful people that are obviously like at a point, they're in a point in their career that I want to get to, where they're making hundreds of thousands of dollars in real estate. And it's like, okay, well that's one of those things about this is like when you surround yourself, when you get to know people that are doing well, you're like, oh, they're just like me. Like it's real. Like I can, if Alex can do it, like I can do it too. Like
exactly.
He's 6'6". He might have a little, some height that I don't have, but like, other than that, like he's just a normal person, he probably is a better basketball player than me, but like I can do this, I can do real estate, like it's the same thing. It makes you realize that it's like attainable when you like meet people and you surround yourself with them and you're like, oh, like if he can do this, like I can do this. Like it's
just building the confidence.
Yeah.
Like everything in life and like muscles and jujitsu and real estate. And, you stay committed and that's what it was. So yeah, when I got out to California, it was, rubber meets the road. And it was,
what was it like building a business from like, cause you had an established thing and you fucking just uprooted it and like just had to basically start from scratch.
I was gonna say, I mean, like you guys were talking about earlier, like they don't give you the blueprint for that shit. And building a business, especially in real estate, is one of the hardest things to do.
Right.
And you've done it twice now.
Yeah.
Like, damn, dude, like I think that's probably one of the coolest and most impressive things about you is that
thanks, man.
You were here, which isn't even your network. Like you might have had a small network from college.
Just from college.
Yeah, but nothing huge. And you built a business here. And then now look at how successful you are out there with, that's one, I mean, like you said, two different markets, but Missouri is pretty tough to get into as a real estate agent. I think, at one point they said that there was like 8,500 licensed real estate agents in St. Louis. And then, I mean, I don't even want to know what it's like out in California.
Yeah.
But, I mean, shit, that's impressive. That's
thanks, man.
Very impressive.
Yeah. It definitely took a lot of, long hours and learned it, but I did. I built a handful of systems that you and I have traded and, like the cold calling system and then the open house system. And then now I'm at 5 years there, which is even wild to say. I feel like COVID took it out, but that was an interesting time. Yeah. To sell out there during it.
Well, yeah. Cause like, it was so different, from my understanding in California than it was here with COVID. Like you guys were like locked down way harder than we were.
Yeah. Northern California was pretty chill. The Bay Area was kind of crazy. Like so I kind of stayed away from there. Yeah. And then hung out in Sac. It was safe.
Yeah.
But no, it was cool. And then, first year, and again, it was a big bet on myself, and I really didn't tell a lot of people. Like,
yeah, we kept it a secret for a while.
I was like, the idea is that I wanted to, if things didn't go well, that I'd still have a business to come back to. Yes. Was the idea. So, and one of the quotes that I met with a financial guy, and before I moved, I asked everybody that was in my sphere, I was like, have you ever lived anywhere else besides St. Louis? And they go, no. I was like, okay. And talked to this one guy, and he said he was going to move out to Sacramento. And he goes, but he says life happened. He had a kid, XYZ. He was like, but Alex, he says, you know what? It's harder to live with. And he's like, it's harder to live with regret than it is failure. And I was like, all right, I'm going.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But
it took the fucking leap, dude.
Yeah. And it went well. I did 9 units my first year, and then it's basically been like 20 to 25 for the past 3 years, which is really great. And now we're just working on improving the price point, and that's going really well. We're at the plate and taking swings at some big listings and big clients, and but it's like what you said, it's all relationship based. It's all value add and just making sure that you're providing value. So that's what I've been focusing on now. And meeting people who know people with the money. So financial planners, attorneys, probate attorneys.
Setting up that accounts pyramid.
It is, yeah. And really leaning into it,
Well, and I think that's something, because I talk to a lot of agents here. I mean, my job is to call agents. And, for me, like, that's the thing is, like, we're looking for people that can refer business to us. So for us, it's agents, financial advisors, insurance agents, things like that. And that's one thing that I've talked to agents about. Like, hey, have you connected with a financial advisor? And I'd say 95% of them like, no.
That's why I feel like it shifts from like running a business to
Yeah.
being like, and Zach and I used to call it all the time, a lead receiver or a lead generator.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you got to be in the lead generator to,
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
have a fun time in real estate.
Yeah.
For
Well,
sure.
and that's the thing is because like that's the opposite of like on ours is going to be more of the lead receiver type just
Mhm.
because. Like,
But you're still doing those lead
right.
generations.
The
those
lead
relationships.
the lead generation on our side is the lead generation is building the relationships with the
Yeah.
agents,
Yeah.
which send the referrals. And then that's like we network and we do a pretty good job of getting. I mean, I think last year 20% of my business was past client referrals,
Nice.
and so obviously we're always trying to continue to grow on that percentage, but it's ultimately everybody goes to their agent first.
Yeah.
And so
Big time.
it's
They like us more.
right. Exactly. I mean, it's
We do the fun stuff.
your
I'm
side-
not gonna lie.
No, your side's.
I'll show you that house.
You got the sexy side.
For
We've
sure.
got the.
I go, Pat,
Fuck.
Pat, we need 50 grand more.
Yeah. We need more
Exactly.
money.
I know you said 350, but 425.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, no, I mean that's the thing is like your side is the sexy side. You're looking at the houses, you're seeing all the things. I mean, obviously, certain houses. I mean, Zach's got some stories. I'm sure.
Oh,
I'm
dude.
sure you do too.
Zach and I have
yeah,
some stories.
I'm sure you do.
Crazy, dude.
So, but yeah, ours is pretty black and white, and I mean, there's gray areas that we can work in, but I mean, it's not as sexy as that. So everybody starts,
But it's very important.
it is very important.
Essential. I mean,
Yeah.
couldn't do it without you.
Right. So
Yin and yang.
yeah. So I mean, we do, like I said, our lead gen's a little different than your guys' lead gen, but that's the thing is like I always tell agents, I'm like, you need to develop a relationship with a financial advisor. There's no
Mhm.
one that like if you get a lead from a financial advisor and you're their go-to referral, like there's no better referral than that because these people are trusting that person with their money.
Right.
And like that takes a lot of trust.
Mm-hmm.
And then that person's referring you, like you already have that built in, like
The rapport.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just that's the thing, and I think a lot of loan officers now too are starting to realize that and starting to target financial advisors as well
Mhm.
in terms of that, especially with refis, because you can save somebody some money. Like, hey, let's
CPAs too.
yeah, let's flip
CPAs send me a few
let's
deals.
flip this money that you're saving over to a financial advisor in some sort of way, get a brokerage account or something like that, or some sort of life policy, and so now like you're really starting to kind of see some loan officers target real or financial advisors as well, just because they can start referring clients back. But I think having a book of or financial advisors in your pocket is a great referral source for real estate agents.
Big
Oh
time.
yeah, I mean my coach, your former coach Dino, our good
Mhm.
friend, he refers to that as an accounts pyramid. So like you have your accounts that you kind of will get business from essentially. Like some people at the top of the accounts could be just past clients that you have that
Mhm.
just tend to just refer
They
you like
love ya.
crazy. It could
Raging
be
fans.
Yeah, raging fans. Yeah, that's what he always called it. That's what he calls it, raging fans of your business. And it's like you got those, you got CPAs, financial advisors, divorce attorneys, like
mhm.
all these things.
Those
that,
ones
like,
are tough.
Divorce attorneys?
No, just the clients.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, dude,
Sometimes.
I've had some that are like very amicable, and
Yeah.
I've had some that are like they won't even talk to each other.
There it
it's
is.
like you got the group chat with the three of us.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're putting something in there and then she's texting you on the side. He's such a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
You're
you're
like,
like,
oh God, like don't put me in this. Like
Yeah.
I'm not picking sides here, lady.
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to get
Sign
the
the
house sold.
document.
Yeah, please just sign the DocuSign.
Just decide.
Fuck, dude. Yeah, dude. The divorces can get nasty for sure. What would you say is the biggest difference between selling houses here in the Midwest versus selling houses out there?
First thing that comes to mind is the product is newer in California. And out here, you just have, in California, the homes have only traded hands like 3 times maybe, where here, you and I were talking about it earlier, that, that home has probably had 10 owners. The chain of title is
Very long.
sale, refi, construction loan, improvement.
Yes.
So I would say the just the product is really different. Like a lot of times when you buy a house in St. Louis, you're most times going into inspections, you're kind of nervous.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Every
you're like, what is it gonna be?
Mhm.
And is
It's
it
gonna
gonna
be
be the
something.
sewer line? Is it gonna be the roof? Is it gonna be
because we get a lot more weather.
Yeah. And you guys have basements. We don't have basements there.
Yep.
So that's a big difference. So we don't have like a radon inspection. Sub pumps aren't a
Yeah.
thing, So that, and then, so Yeah, just the condition and everything's a lot newer. Like the older homes in Sacramento, or there are old homes, like especially in Old Sac, but really where I sell mostly, it's called Placer County, and then it bleeds into like Folsom and El Dorado Hills, and
You always refer to it as the St. Charles of Sacramento.
yeah, it's nice. It is. And they all the homes there, like the oldest is probably like 1970s.
Okay.
Yeah. But still the oldest home that I had sold was to our good buddy Dane.
Oh, really?
Yeah. His I think was like 1906.
And him and I have been looking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
him and I've been shopping with him and his wife. They've been looking around lately, so
Well, that's the thing is like, if you're in the city, you're I think probably the average age of those homes is close to 100 years old now.
But they're so beautiful
Oh,
too.
yeah, those-
So I'm staying in the West End at a friend's house, and I took a walk down to go to Kingside Diner, and I walked down. I think it was Portland. Yeah.
So
And it was just like you don't get that in
Those
California.
old like estate homes over there in Central West End. Yeah, they're
like the German
beautiful.
style and the colonial, and we have really nice stucco.
yeah, not like brick.
and a
You don't
nice
see
modern look. It's
Yeah, you
really
don't-
pretty.
Clean lines.
It is, dude. That part is really nice, especially like a lot of the new construction homes that we sell. They're just top tier. Everything's dialed. It's exactly how you want it, and that's what you want to give to our clients.
Well, I'm sure with everything that's going on, I mean, are you guys in that area affected by the wildfires and all that? Up
The fire
north?
insurance is
Insane.
impacted. Yeah. So a lot of the big insurance companies have left California.
Yeah, I know. Like State Farm has. 'Cause
Oh,
I
yeah.
work with a lot of State Farm agents here.
Mm-hmm.
But they told me that they shifted out of there a few years ago. They still have some policies there that people were grandfathered in, but
Yeah.
they can't renew them.
Yeah. So now, because always in the offers and in your contingency period, you would have your insurance, but a lot of times it's an afterthought. The lender needs an insurance quote.
Yeah.
Grab it.
Yeah.
Call your insurance guy. But now we specifically outline it in every offer because it's called the California Fair Plan, and that is it's like a government-based housing insurance. And like your fire insurance for a standard home, you'll have your regular. It's like flood insurance out here. You'll have your regular insurance premium of probably $100 to $150 a month, and then you have your supplemental to your fire. And your fire can be like anywhere from like the highest one I've seen is about 12 grand, so it's like $1,000 a month for fire insurance.
Jeez.
Nuts.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like forced out, and then now they're doing re-inspections. So everybody in those areas, they're like, if there's a tree hanging over, they can cancel your policy, and they've done that too. So it's.
Well, I just had this as of recently because I'm not sure if you heard about the tornadoes that came through here.
I did,
back in March, and
That was wild.
FEMA has declared like part of Jefferson County as a natural disaster area. So now, anytime there's a natural disaster area added, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac require whatever that natural disaster causes that coverage added insurance. So I've had
To new loans or old loans?
no
too?
to. Moving forward until they're no longer deemed a natural disaster area.
Wow.
So like for us, I've gotten a handful of calls. I'm like, hey, I just got this letter from Guild saying that they're requiring wind coverage because of these tornadoes, and I'm just like, oh, that sounds like a scam. Can you send me a picture of that?
Yeah.
And they sent the first client sent me a picture. I'm like, no, sure as fuck, that's a letter from Guild. And so I called up our servicing department. And they're like, yeah, FEMA literally just went out very recently and declared that area a natural disaster. So now it's required to have this cover, almost like going from not being in a floodplain to being in a floodplain.
Yeah.
But now there's parts of Jefferson County that are now requiring wind coverage. So in case the tornado comes,
in case the wind comes,
in case the wind gets to it. I don't know what that's going to do to policies, but I'm sure that's probably not cheap either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's a new thing that we're having to deal with. But I was just talking to my ex-wife; she's an agent, and we had clients that were struggling getting insurance because they had a claim from that same storm that they had already filed before they went under contract on their new house, and so they had to like cancel, or they had to wait for the claim to be closed in order for him to get a policy. But luckily, the co-borrower wasn't on that house or anything, so we just switched it up and was like, all right, so we're gonna make him a co-signer.
There we go.
I'm not gonna take title, all that stuff, and then once they make their first payment, then they can quit claim them on.
And that's why you need a good lender
Yeah,
that knows how to do those things.
That's
why.
my guy.
But yeah, I mean, that's the kind of shit that we run into and come across, and that especially now, it's just like we got to pivot, and all these people that have had claims, and that's the one thing, everybody's like, oh, just file a claim with your insurance to get the roof replaced. Well, that person filing that claim is going to have a difficult time getting insurance on their next house because the claim is going to still be open. So the days of, hey, just file a claim on your roof to get a new roof replaced during inspections is going to get a little bit more sticky.
Yeah, big time.
So, but yeah. I mean,
oh, that's the other part. California, clay tile roofs.
Oh, expensive as fuck.
No, well, that and then they're 50-year roofs.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
So
and then a tile cracks. Oh, that's okay. Take a little piece out.
Yeah.
Put it back.
In.
You're good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
But to get the whole thing replaced, you're talking like $100K.
Probably
Right?
for a nice clay tile roof. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how big, but you're probably like 1,500 square foot house. You're probably like 25, 30 grand.
So it's like,
which is a lot. You know,
so it's
compared
like
to like
4x what it would cost here for like an asphalt roof.
They're bringing asphalt roofs back there.
Really?
Yeah. My new house I just bought has it. And I'm like, oh, man. Because, you know, I'll have to fix that in 15 years.
15 years, yeah.
We'll sell it at 14.
Yeah.
Are solar panels getting big out there?
Yeah, everywhere. And solar is a big deal. Every new house has to be solar. Every new house has to be electric as well. Electric ranges, gas ranges are going away. So we're still seeing them in the customs, and like the luxury customs, you'll have your gas range. But in any, standard builder.
So what would you consider luxury out in California? Like, is it a price point thing?
It is a price point. I would probably say that, well, I take that back. There's a lot of beautiful homes that give a lot of good, provide a good lifestyle that you can purchase for, I would say, $500,000 or more.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I consider luxury here. I would say like $500,000 or more.
Yeah. But $500,000 in Sacramento will get you about, on the low end, kind of like in the Placer County area, it'll probably get you closer to like 1,200 square feet. And then if you get into like a little bit more of like Sacramento County, you can probably get like 1,400 to 1,700 square feet for like $550. And then really whenever you get, I think like a nice luxury home in Roseville, like with a pool on a half-acre lot, you're probably starting around like $950. And then if you really want like a really great house, like where Paul lived in Morgan Creek, which is a beautiful subdivision.
Beautiful, yeah.
And I believe JMC was the builder of most of those ones, but they are all half acres, beautiful pool, rambling ranch, Spanish style, has character, golf course, lake.
Yeah, like roughly, like at a house in that neighborhood where Paul lives.
Is probably 1.5.
1.5. Yeah. It's crazy though, because like you pick that up and you put that in like, like in West County here, it's probably like a 7 or 8.
I was gonna say it's probably a good number.
Was it similar, kind of like to the house that I had?
Yeah, pretty similar to yours house. Yeah.
Like 3,000 square feet. Like,
what was yours?
2,400.
2,400.
Nice.
You had a
3-bedroom, 2
bedrooms, 2 baths,
2.5 baths.
I mean, what 20-foot ceilings, like something like that.
No, they were 15-foot ceilings. Yeah, something like they're 12. I don't know.
We need those though. We're tall.
Yeah, exactly. And what was cool, it was just
Zach too. Though. Zach needs it too.
Yeah,
it just made everything feel so much bigger. And even though like that 2,400 square feet felt much larger.
Yeah.
But then you also have you have the basement that you can finish up. Obviously, you're not counting that in the overall square footage, but we could have finished that out and added probably another, I don't know, 1,800 square foot to the bottom of the house. We just hadn't quite gotten there.
That's what we don't have.
Yeah.
So
basements.
Yeah, but ADUs are really popular.
Yeah.
So every new construction home, especially like on a half-acre lot, you can still get a pool and add an ADU.
Yeah, me and Dino, any house we look at, he's like, "Is there a possibility to put an ADU?" And I'm like, they do that a little bit here."
Yeah,
like, it's like, okay, like I'm in. Like, let's figure out how to do it.
You're starting to see more and more of that in Kirkwood.
Yeah,
Kirkwood's been,
and you can build some nice ones. Like if you build like a really nice one in Sacramento, it'll probably cost you about $600,000 for like, but that's like a 1,400 square foot ADU.
Yeah, so for those of you guys listening that don't know what an ADU is, it means an additional dwelling unit, right? Yeah. So it's like basically like think of having just a second house on your property.
Yep.
A small little
kids,
in-law quarter.
Yeah. I don't know how I don't know if it's any different out there in terms of the appraisal process, but I know here you're not getting full value for those ADU properties. Hell, a couple of years ago, I sold a house that had a whole nother house attached to it that these people used, like that they converted into a dance studio. So it's really two houses. The main house was like 2,100 square feet, and then this second house that was on the property was, I want to say like 1,300 square
Still a
feet.
big house.
Yeah. But they had converted it into like a dance studio and things like that she was running lesson classes out of and all that. But they literally only gave that like 30 grand worth of value. In terms of the overall value of the house. Yeah.
They hold them. So California just released a to where if you're zoned like regular standard residential, that you are able to put an ADU on your property. Before, you would have to go through the permit process, submit it, it's a pain in the butt. But now, and California is a very shifting state. A lot of so it's Vegas. I believe Sacramento is a pretty impactful with the capital being there of where these things come out of. But like Vegas, Sac, New York, and then I think the other one is like Dallas. Really following the trends of how usually it always starts in Vegas and then comes out to California and then sweeps across. At least that's what we experienced with when COVID happened.
Yeah.
Because everything stalled for, 60 days.
With all the,
and then it started drinking hot and then year kept going. And
yeah, well, it's so weird because like things will, it's like I can talk to you and kind of see what's like the future is going to look like here. Because it's like, okay, man, how's the market like going out there?
It's
like, man, it's like starting to slow down. I'm like, man, it's fucking hot here. And then like fucking 2 months later, I'm like, oh, it's slowing down a little bit. You know? Like, it's like we're always like a few months behind you. And it's like I can always kind of see into the future a little bit.
Yeah.
But like what we were saying, like I was telling you at lunch, like, I mean, yeah, it's like hasn't like that whole hot market getting multiple offers. Like that's still, I mean, that's still really
I think it's
happening.
the price points, man.
I think
really
so too.
think so.
It's that price point between like,
because it hurts in California.
like 200 to 400.
I'm sure
here.
It hurts. Like for buyers,
Sure.
entry level buyers, a lot of people are getting gift funds from family members, and which is great. And then, or they have a good job and saved up and are ready to spend 50.
It's just to get into real estate, like and buy that first house there. It's just such the higher barrier for entry.
It's crazy though, because when I moved out there in 2020, I was looking at these and I was like, 1,500 square foot for $500,000. I was like, why would somebody do this?
Yeah.
I'm like, this is terrible.
Right. But you're coming from here.
But in certain areas of St. Louis, that's how it is here. I mean,
that is true.
Yeah,
like at Kirkwood. Yeah.
Kirkwood. I mean, even Baldwin, like where I was at, there's, I mean, I had a brand new subdivision that's just turned 5 years old this year. And there's like my house was a ranch, and that was the largest ranch that they built in the subdivision. But then they had like miniature versions of it that were like 1,800 square feet. And those homes were selling, we sold ours, I think for, was it 630 or something like that?
Okay.
And then those homes were selling for like was it 585 or 590?
Yeah.
So not much difference in terms for 1,800 square feet, still selling almost 600,000.
Yeah.
And that's in Baldwin.
Yeah. It is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just a shift, right? Because
it's a mental shift, I think, more than anything.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
it is. It's all relative, you know. Now selling one house and you make X commission versus here you make Y.
Exactly.
And then, but it all adds up.
I mean, then when I talked to you originally, so why are you going out there? Well, I could do the same amount of work and make 3 times the money. I was like, well, that's pretty true. Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. When you put it that way, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I mean, because we're paid on a percentage, It's like if the house is more expensive, you're going to make more money. Yeah. Oh man. So what ultimately kind of led you to go into the luxury path? I know that's kind of like something you've been kind of striving for, and you've been selling a lot of these very beautiful luxury homes recently. Like what kind of led you to that path?
So my career began with Sotheby's. So I really got exposure to even the St. Louis luxury market early in my career. And I was sitting in the sales meetings that, Ted and Warner and Alex and all of these hitters,
killers.
Yeah, the sharks of
the sharks,
the friendly
Louis.
sharks. They're the best. They really are so great.
Ted's the sweetest.
The nursing sharks.
Yeah. But they were, talking Clayton, Ladue, Chesterfield, like all these big listings that they have. So, and I learned how to market them, and I learned a lot of the what to do in a transaction side from Sotheby's, and how to market it, how to conversate with the client, what they need, how to expect, how to, lay it out. and then, but what I really learned from the coaching with Paul and when I moved to California was the lead generation, the processes, the, you know, putting people into the hopper to do it. And, but mainly what drove me to luxury was, I would say, starting with Sotheby's, and then just the clientele is a little bit different. So it's not the person's first or second time selling a home. So it's more relationship than it is, I think, transactional. So a lot of my clients that I have, I've known for, you know, 2, 3, 4 years now in California, to where now they're coming to fruition for, you know, transacting because the trust is there. And that's where it comes into like being a good resource for them. So a lot of luxury clients, they need good referrals to attorneys. They need good referrals to CPAs. They need good referrals for, you know, they have a big house. So, hey, do you need a landscaper, roofers, plumbers, painters? Like, I have everybody that you need. So quarterly calls, quarterly touches, client appreciation events, you know, like really just leaning into servicing them. Because it's kind of like, you know, it's, again, kind of the same amount of work, but yeah. And don't get me wrong, I will help anybody and everybody buy a house.
Right.
But I just luxury, I think, is fun. I think it's really attractive for everybody to see, and, you know, and especially for me too. You know, I'm from a small town where probably the most expensive house was probably, you know, $275, $300. Now it's probably more because of COVID, but yeah. So, and now getting out to California, what my old broker, Kerry Brooks, big shout out to him. He's awesome. Really helped me guide. He was the broker at Sotheby's with Andy, and taught me a lot of the internal workings of, you know, making the transaction not a transaction, making it the relationship, you know. And I feel like that's what I instilled in the coaching, and that's why people, you know, rant and rave and love you, is for how you take care of your clients. And I'm sure you're the same.
Absolutely.
And that's where the transaction doesn't stop when it closes.
No, relationships over transactions. That's
exactly.
That whole Ricky Carruth line. That's something that, you know, I'm a big fan of his, and like it's something, you know, especially when I was very new in the business, like I was, you know, obviously working with you a lot. I was looking at all of his stuff, the whole, you know, and this whole thing is relationships over transactions, and that was just like something that really like stuck with me. And I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. You know, it's like if I really take care of these people, I really put everything into them, show them that like I legitimately care, then like it's gonna come back, you know. And people are, you know, that's how your business grows, is, you know, they've like, man, this guy, he was awesome. He took such great care of us. You got to use him. If you use anybody else than him, then you're making a mistake. And like, that's like my goal with every client I work with. Like I want to make them a raving fan, you know. It's like that they wouldn't even think about using someone else, because like they had such a great time with me.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the one of the biggest shifts that I had early on was talking with my business coach. He's like, don't look at it as a transaction. It's a family helped. When you start looking at it as how many families I've helped versus how many transactions I've had, it makes it personal, and it's a different shift in the way you transact with these people or act with these people. And I mean, that's the thing, is like, it's not, hey, it's, you know, I didn't close this many loans. I helped this many families. And there it is. Going from that, like that little shift was huge for me. Yeah. So
sure.
But taking things a little bit deeper, coming from the Midwest and moving around, you know, how did moving to California challenge who you are as a person, your identity, and what did you learn about yourself through that transition?
It's a great question. What did I learn about myself during the move? So I think it's also one of those things where, you know, when you start going to the gym and you look at yourself every day in the mirror, you kind of, you don't see the change right off the bat, right? I think the thing with the gym is, right, it's like you'll see a little bit of change in 3 months, and then your family will see a little bit of change in, you know, 6 months. Yep. And then everybody sees a lot of change in a year. Yeah. So I think for me, it was really just leaning into myself. And I had mentioned this to Zach as well, is you need 3 things, and it's systems, accountability, and mentorship. And I feel like I just implemented all of those, you know, and I really put my head down for 3 years. So all of 2020 till 2023, and I had the blessing of being able to purchase my first home in California. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
$500,000 purchase, which is wild. Coming from
Galena.
my first apartment was 40 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Your first condo.
Yeah.
You bought, yeah.
And
40 grand. Yeah. Your first one was 40. Your second one was 500.
Second one 600. You're like, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say like it's a big so like one story I do like to share. I think you know it, and I've shared it a few times with a couple close friends. But so when I moved to California, I had 50 grand. I had 30,000 from the condo sale, and then 15,000 from the real estate sales saved. And then I moved, and I gave them 20 of it. So now I'm down to 30. And then from like November till March, I burned all the way down to like, I think it was like $7,500. And I was like, oh my God. I go, what did I do? I said, 6 months ago, I had 50 grand. I was 23 with 50 grand. I was like, or 24. And I was like, that was a good day.
Yeah.
And king of the world for 6 months.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. And I took a picture of myself, like, teared up, like, what am I doing, with a thumbs up? And I always kind of reflect on that, to where you really don't realize how far you've come, and you need to be grateful and thankful and appreciative. And I think that's what I've been practicing a lot. And I think that's kind of transitioned into my business. And I think it goes in same with you guys as well, of where when you do, go deeper with your clients, and because none of your clients are just clients, they're friends.
Right.
Yes.
And what's really fun for me is like, so my parents, they live in Costa Rica, right? And then my sister, she jumps around with her family with the Navy.
Talking, by the way.
I know. Yeah, I know. Maybe. I don't know if they'll come here or Springfield. We'll see.
Fingers crossed.
But they, so, I don't have any immediate family in Sacramento.
Yeah.
So what's really beautiful is all of my clients have really turned into family.
Yeah.
And that's cool. So, I go to their birthday parties, and I have one client, her name is Miss Elena, and she is, I think she's like just over 80. I always say she's young. She's like 60, but she's there. And I go over there once a month, and she makes me like Filipino food. And
that's awesome.
So I go see her, and she's got this fat house. It's great. But with a view, it's cool. But yeah, I'd say what I had learned about myself was, lean in and can pull through. And it just takes a little bit of time. And then also that, I just am super thankful and grateful for everything that has come.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's the one thing I wish we were able to do kind of more of on our side. We don't get to, the good one, like the really good ones are good at this. And this is something that I've been working on hard is being able to develop that kind of personal relationship with clients, just because ours is so, like, things are so black and white. We're only talking every so once in a while. They're only really only hearing from them like, hey, can you run numbers on this? I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? And trying to develop those relationships with clients. But you guys are out there spending a lot of hours, a lot of time, and you guys are getting to have those conversations and develop those relationships a little bit further. And I just wish that was something that was, just because sometimes I'm not even meeting the clients until we get to the
closing table. Yeah.
I do Zoom consultations with every single one of them. So we'll have that initial kind of face-to-face, but it's hard to really build that relationship with people. But that's awesome that, basically you're just building your extended family out there. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be having our client event
client
here.
events.
Client events. We're going to do a cool client event here. In
I know. This place is cool.
Isn't it sweet?
Yeah. And the podcast setup and everything. And again, seeing you guys grow, like, you guys deserve accolades, man. Like, really.
I appreciate that.
And I'm just Zach's biggest hype man. So,
I
most humble guy in the game. But, dude,
I wouldn't be where I am without you, man. I really wouldn't.
That's where we're at. All of us, dude. We're all grown.
We got a sip left in there. Not cheers on an empty glass. Promise.
Oh, man. Well, Alex, one other thing I wanted to kind of get to is, dude, you've got a pretty sweet deal with your mom and her past her career where she was a flight attendant. You've got you fly, you get to
travel a lot.
So she was a flight attendant for United,
okay.
And then we were allotted the amount of years that she was a flight attendant to fly standby.
Really?
So yeah, so like coming here to St. Louis, it was like $25.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So I got to come see you.
So you get to, so you travel a lot.
Mhm.
And that's like one cool thing about you and being, you've set your business up where you can, where you can go spend a month in, like we talked about, like before this, you spent a month in Costa Rica,
Yeah.
like in early this year. And like you do a lot of traveling over the last year. I know you've been over to Europe. You've done a lot of like cool shit in like the last few years. Like
Yeah.
what's some, talk to us about some of these trips you've been on.
So yeah, a lot of Europe, a lot of Germany. One of my good friends, his name is Nils. He lives over in Germany. He just moved to Majorca, which is a nice island off of Spain. So we'll be going there in May.
Cool.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. We go over there and
Did you go over there for Oktoberfest?
no, I need
No,
to.
yeah, I was
I
gonna
need
say
to get
that.
some leather trousers and some lederhosens, and I'd be one big
See,
German.
I don't know if they make them in your size.
Oh yeah, yeah,
For those of you that don't know, Alex is like 6'6".
yeah.
yeah.
He makes Pat look
He
short.
makes me look small.
But yeah, the travels have been great, and yeah, a lot of Europe, like Scotland, England. My mother's originally from England, so I'm half British. Got the passport, so I do want to go to
Do you have the
Scotland
dual
again.
citizenship?
I do.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
which is
Oh, I didn't
sweet.
know
My,
that.
Pretty
my
cool.
kids will get it too.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, the wife, no, she's got to stay.
Yes.
Yeah, but,
But that's awesome. Yeah.
What,
Any cool places? Like, you got any trips coming up?
so we have this one, and then the next one is we'll go to Majorca in
Okay.
May. And Majorca is really beautiful. It's like a Spanish island, and it's just everything. And it's right off the coast, so all the seafood is delicious, and the food is so fresh. And but no, I'd say like my highlight trips were I went to Antalya in Turkey.
Okay.
That was really great.
What
That
made that one so special?
we actually went over there to source prefabricated ADU companies.
No, really?
So there's a company over there, and I'm happy to share the info
Yeah,
with anybody who wants
please.
it. But they build prefabricated, can build and be set up within like I think it's like 3 weeks.
Almost like a manufactured ADU.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
cool.
Yeah. And then but we went there and we stayed at this beautiful 5-star resort that was right on the ocean. It was like built on the cliffside, and you could walk down and jump off and go in
Dude,
the
yeah,
ocean.
watching your
and-
stories when you were there. It's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And then we got a couple bachelor parties coming up in
Okay.
June, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
One of my best friends is getting married, and then another good friend of mine from here.
Oh.
So we're going to Nashville, and then one wants to go to South Lake Tahoe. So
Cool.
I think
Well,
we'll probably
right
go
in your
there.
neighborhood.
yeah, just right up the street.
Well, yeah, because
How cool is Tahoe? Like, I hear all.
you go all the
come.
time, yeah.
You need to come. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 2 hours away. It's a little choppy to go paddleboarding on, but there's actually a really cool lake next to it. It's called like Fallen Leaf Lake,
Mhm.
and that one's even more cool. If you want like a real Tahoe experience, go like we can drive there and chill out.
There's a girl I used to date many moons ago. Actually, she lives out there in your area. She's I
Nice.
think she's in Folsom.
Okay,
But she's always like, dude, you got to come out here and check this out.
it is.
So
Yeah. But no, the travels have been really great, and I've been very blessed and very fortunate to be able to do that. And real estate, provides that lifestyle that you can.
Yeah.
And I have clients that are supportive of it, and it's, we only have so much time, and you'll never have enough money. So
Yeah.
just go.
Yeah.
And money comes and
Yeah.
Money goes.
And money goes, yeah. And you can spend it on fun things.
is there anywhere in particular that you want to go to that you haven't been to?
So there's the cold calling system that I have in place that Zach, I don't know if you
Yeah.
use anymore,
A little bit.
but I have a cold caller who does, who helps with, I would say probably about like,
Eugene?
Gene.
Yeah,
Gene is
Gene.
still rocking.
Gene's
man.
rocking
He
and rolling,
is.
dude,
We're
for
going
like-
on about 4 years
Okay.
of
That's
Eugene and I
crazy.
working together.
That's
And
crazy. Dude, he's such a good guy.
He is. But he produces probably about 10 to 12 transactions a year.
Oh, wow. That's
Which
awesome.
is great. And then all of those just compound too. And now, of course, he's only calling luxury, so those conversations are getting better. He has a new script. The script is dialed.
You're gonna have to
It's
share
really
it, bro.
nice. Yeah, I'll send it. And but he lives in the Philippines,
Okay.
so I really want to do like the Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. I want to do those, but I think
I
I want to get you connected with the people here. They're planning a trip to Thailand.
I saw that on the
Yeah.
board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to go to Thailand really bad.
Yeah,
That's like
I want to go for like 2-3 weeks though.
It's like an MMA.
I feel like anytime you go over, like you're doing something like that, you have to make it an extended trip.
Well, I've heard that like your jet lag doesn't wear off for like 2-3 days.
Yeah.
Because you're a full shift.
Mm.
Yeah.
that makes sense.
But Europe's easy.
I've never.
You just stay up. Just push through the day and then you're in.
You're in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I still have
We
never
had
been
a
to
lot of new tonics. Hey,
Yeah.
new tonic help fuel us on our trip to Europe.
There we go.
Yeah. Chris, James, hit us up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. What was I saying? But yeah. So, do you have a favorite place you've ever gone?
The favorite place I've ever traveled to. First one that comes to mind is Scotland.
Really?
So I did a trip with my parents
Okay.
to Scotland. And I know when you vacation with your parents and it's old when you're older, right? But I definitely still do it. It's
yeah.
a good time.
Yeah.
But we went to Scotland with them and we did a whiskey tasting for the celebration of life for my granddad.
Oh, that's
Okay.
cool.
And so we flew into Edinburgh and then went to all of the points of the whiskey. So like we went all the way up to Isle of Skye, Loch Ness, Glasgow. There's my favorite whiskey place is it's Auchentoshan that's there. It's about $80-$90 a bottle, but it's just money.
Yeah.
It's so good.
So,
Yeah.
so are you more of a Scotch person than a bourbon person?
I am more of
Yeah.
So and
You like that peaty
So and
flavor?
I had learned all about it. So
Yeah.
Scotch is only
Yeah, what's the
whis-
difference between Scotch and bourbon?
So Scotch is whiskey that comes from Scotland.
Yeah.
And then bourbon
because
is,
of their water.
Yep, and then bourbon is made in anywhere that's outside of Scotland.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the only
That's
difference.
That's
the
the
only
only
difference.
difference.
And
But when you drink it, you will 100% taste the difference.
Yeah.
So
None-
that Johnny Walker Blue Label, that's Scotch, right? Or
That's a Scotch.
that's a Scotch.
That's a Scotch.
I think so.
Okay.
So, like I said, the difference is the water that they use, from what I've heard. But Scotch is more peaty. So, like think of drinking like a wheatgrass shot. It's going to taste more earthy.
Mm.
So that's the difference.
You ever lick a burnt piece of wood?
Yeah, all the time.
That is
Yeah.
what it tastes. I'm not a peaty guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
But-
like the northern ones, Isle of Skye,
Yeah.
that one's really peaty.
Is it?
Yeah. And that's like
So I honestly like. So it doesn't burn like a bourbon does. I think bourbon, if you were to drink it neat, burns more than a Scotch does when you drink it neat. I can drink Scotch neat all day.
Mm.
But I might be able to have like one or two bourbons neat, and I'm done because it just
you're on fire.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is like there was a guy here, a custom home builder. It's story time. So I got connected with him. He used to be the president of the Home Builders Association.
Cool.
So I sat down with him, older gentleman, awesome. We had a great conversation. I'm thinking, I was told like he's a big Scotch guy, and so like I didn't realize like when someone tells me like, oh, they're a big Scotch person or a big bourbon person, I'm like, oh, that's cool. They probably have a pretty decent collection.
Yeah.
This guy's collection was absolutely fucking insane.
Really?
In his office. Like, so imagine that like his office was about the size of this podcast studio, but like, so I'm sitting on this side, he's on that side, but floor to ceiling and wrapping around were his like cabinets.
Yeah.
All the way full, front to back, floor to ceiling, stocked
We should move the
with
podcast
Scotch.
to
Oh,
his
for
room.
sure. Oh, absolutely.
Makes our
And
little
so-
bar cart look
No,
like
the
nothing.
bar
gosh.
cart is money.
Yeah, gosh.
There's some pappy over there.
Yeah.
He probably had to have had at least 200 bottles of Scotch in his office. Oh yeah. Oh, it was insane. And so like I sit down.
He's a happy guy.
Yeah, I sit
Yeah.
down.
You better be.
Yeah.
I sit down and he's like, we're getting ready to start. And he's like, hold up a second. He turns around, he comes back, and it's a flight. He has this wood, like he has this beautiful wooden piece of wood that's engraved, and it holds 5 little Glencairns.
Mhm.
And he's like, all right, well, he's like, what Scotch do you want? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, pick 5. I'm like, obviously you know more than I do, so you pick 5.
There we go. Yeah.
You
So-
pick.
Show
not
me
me.
the way.
Yeah, exactly. So literally, he just lined up 5. Like he's like pouring 5. So we just sat there for like 2 hours, just sipping on this Scotch, having a great conversation. It was
There we
awesome.
go.
Oh, it was so cool. But yeah, I'm like, fuck, this is life goals.
You need to
life
yeah.
goals.
go to
right
Scotland
here.
then.
Yeah, no, I need to. I want to go to Ireland. Ireland has always
Ireland's
been.
cool.
That's my heritage. That's where when we retrace it, like when we go real far back, we're Nordic Vikings.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
we're Vikings.
Yeah,
too. We're
guys.
guys.
Nordic
boys.
Vikings. Nordic Vikings. We
Zach's
conquered.
a Vikings too, though.
Yeah, I'm
He's
just
got
like,
the he's got the
some
red
short
beard and
Viking.
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah,
So
made of
thick
steel.
yeah. So Nordic Vikings that conquered like Northern Ireland. So that's where we originated from. So of Nordic Viking descent through Ireland is my family's heritage. But my dad and I had talked about taking a trip back there.
Yeah,
And
you should
we
do it.
need to do it.
I went to
me too.
Dublin.
Yeah, how was that?
Oh,
Was
it was
it?
fun.
Oh, I'm sure.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
We did the Guinness tour and the Jameson tour, and
I just want to I want to go for like a month and just
Yeah.
travel around the entire country and just hit as many spots as I can in a month.
so if you guys are down, I
Okay.
do want to do this. Is that you can fly to Scotland, do Scotland, then you can take the train over into England,
Okay.
and it's like it goes under the ocean, and then you can go from there to go anywhere.
Really?
Yeah, go England to France.
And I've got a
Germany.
hookup for a hotel in Northern Ireland. There's a loan officer. Actually, he's in the Bay Area from Guild.
Nice.
We just brought him on, I think towards the end of last year, but he owns a hotel in Innis, Ireland.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. And so he's like, dude, whenever you want to go over there, just hit me up and I'll let you know. And I can get you guys in there.
that'd be
I
solid.
was like, fuck yeah, let's do this.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Next podcast.
Yeah.
Over in Ireland.
Yeah, let's pack up the mics.
We
Let's
did
go,
it.
baby.
Yeah. We've made it.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, that'd be
Cool.
awesome.
That'd be so cool. So
Well, Alex, dude, I'm just so pumped you came in town. This has been great. I loved having you in here, man.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
But is there anything else we want to get to before we get you out of here?
I don't know, man. I'm honestly just grateful and thankful that you guys are doing this, and I really have been following along a lot.
Have you?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
that's awesome. We
Watch them
appreciate
as much
that.
as I can, especially like when I go to the gym, throw them on, and you guys do add a lot of value. So
We appreciate that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We just
and it's
wanna,
growing, and it's moving and
Yeah.
shaking, and
we just try and get as many people on here. Like that was like our big shift. We were doing 4 guests a month with 4 episodes of just him and I, and then it was like January when we moved in here. We're like, man, we should do some more guests.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
dude,
and that's the
being
thing.
here, we have so many opportunities for great guests. And
Yeah.
we're kind of just surrounded by people all day, every day that are like, oh, this guy, he owns this and this and this. Be a great. Oh, let's figure out what he does.
And
Like, let's
we've
talk
learned
about
that everybody's got a story to tell.
yeah,
If they're willing to tell it. We've had some, guests that come on that just kind of one sentence answers and things like that kind of, doesn't allow us to really dive into things. So,
Right.
but people that are willing to talk and have a story and want to tell it, we're going to have them on and let them tell it.
Yeah.
And it's been awesome. And we made that shift from doing, we were like, oh, we're going to go from 4 guests to 6 guests and then just 2 one-on-ones. And I think we might have done in the
in the 4 months we've been here. I think we've done 2 one-on-ones.
yeah.
right?
And
2?
everything's been guests. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I think 3 because the very first episode,
That's
like
right.
we're like Zach like a little kid on Christmas, like, oh my God, we got to try out the new
I
sound.
was like,
Yeah,
we
gotta
moved
do it.
in. I want to see what it sounds like.
Yeah.
So he's like, we got to try it. And we're like, oh, all right.
All
So we
right.
just hopped on real quick and recorded a quick little
Podcast,
duet,
yeah.
but I think we've done 2 since then.
I think so. Yeah.
And everything else has been guests and we're booked out into May
Yeah.
Cool.
with guests. So yeah, and there's never a shortage of people like, hey, you want to come tell a story? And they're like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
So it's been awesome.
It is cool to hear everybody's story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is like one of my favorite things I've ever done.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a cool.
Right. And it, like, even though we're not really talking about real estate all the time,
Mhm.
we'll do every once in a while, especially like when we have
Today,
guests like
yeah.
today, like with you and that's what you do. Or like we have investors that come on and we'll have that conversation, home inspectors, appraisers, things like that. We'll talk about it. But for the most part, I think we do more non-real estate related stuff than real estate related stuff. But in the end, like it's allowing people to see who we are as people.
That's a big
and,
point.
And that's the thing is what this is episode 140, I think.
So.
Yeah.
That's a good number.
So, I mean, you can't fake who you are for 140 episodes.
Yeah.
And so people are getting to see the real us and how we interact. And I mean, it's probably helped my business more than anything
Yeah, big time.
just because they're getting to like, oh, I like know and trust this guy, like type stuff. So
Yeah, and we have fun doing it.
Yeah,
like I
absolutely.
legitimately look forward to sitting down and like, all right, let's figure out what this guy's all about. Because I can't tell you how many times we've had many people in here where like I mean I don't know much other than
You
know,
sell homes. Like,
Yeah,
that's
or
it.
like whatever it is, or like okay, I have like all right, this guy he started this business, or he did this. Like he filled out the little questionnaire. Like I'm like okay, well I kind of know a little bit about him, but like let's really dive into this thing here.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's been a really fun journey. I feel like I've learned I've
lot.
a lot about people. I've learned a lot about myself. It's been just a fun experience.
Totally.
And it's definitely one of my favorite things we've ever done. And you and I have talked about this before, but this is also kind of like a cool time capsule. It's
Yeah.
like,
100%.
Yeah, my
'cause
kids
it's like,
coming up.
dude, yeah, it's like, how cool would it be to like look back on your dad
Yeah.
when he's like in his early 30s, like,
Yeah.
thinking of talking for hours and hours and hours. Like, I mean, dude, we've got fucking how many hours of
We're probably upwards close to 1,000 hours now.
something like that?
Well,
you
maybe
know?
not that
Maybe
much,
not many, but like,
5. We've done 140 episodes that are about an hour and a half each. So
Yeah.
we're probably
Good amount of time.
Yeah, about
So
500
it's like,
hours
dude,
into this.
how cool would it be to like go back and like see your dad, when he's in his early 30s talking for that many hours? And, I always
Talking
say,
about things
like,
that matter to him and things that are important to talk about.
yeah. And it's like, man, okay, like, God forbid something happened to me. Like, like I get into a car accident on the way home tonight and I get killed. Like, now my kids have a little piece of me that's always out there. Like, I think that's like such a cool thing to think about it when I think about it like that. So this is definitely one of my favorite things we've ever done.
Same. It's almost and it's almost like a therapy.
Big time.
Yeah.
So-
Get on here and then you're a little nervous starting before
I
you're like,
was,
you're like,
yeah.
oh, I'm a little nervous,
was
but you
like-
get on here and you get talking. You're just like kind of forget the microphones are there a little bit.
You do.
Know?
You do.
The headphones, help.
Headphones are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Weird-
them. There's some
weird
people that just
hearing
can't get used to it, which is fine. Hey, we wear it just so we can monitor and make sure it sounds good,
Yeah.
because that's how it's going to come across.
Yeah, because you're hearing it like the people that are listening are going to hear it, and
Yeah.
it's just gonna like keeps you monitored because you can tell if I'm talking back here. it's
Yeah,
a big
you really
difference
do.
Than when I'm right here,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and so like just kind of makes you mindful of that.
Or if
That's why I always
get on the side.
you
of
get
it.
kind of
You
talking
say, hey.
over here, and then you're like over here.
I was
and it
bobbing
sounds-
and weaving
yeah.
a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, it's okay.
As long as you're in front of it, and the front can pick up your voice. It's once
Yeah.
you get on the side, and we've run into issues with that. And that's just
Yeah, we had one episode that like we had to delete because it just like didn't like we weren't paying attention, but it was like right here the whole time and like didn't sound great.
Dialed out.
So anyway. But yeah, brother, I appreciate you.
Yeah,
and
man.
I love
Likewise.
you, and I'm so glad that you came in here. And
Well, we hit them we'll play a little game at the end. We call it the Tombstone game.
Tombstone.
Tombstone game.
Okay.
Here lies Alex. What's it say on your tombstone?
Always
or,
smile.
or Easter shirts.
Yeah, I had to, dude. I picked this out for us. Make sure we're.
Yeah, looks good. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Looks nice.
I got a compliment of it earlier.
You did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're out here.
Yeah,
There
we're
you
out
go.
here.
Same
We're out here.
Gotta look good.
If your height didn't make you stand out enough,
Yeah.
not,
Gonna-
not throw the height
Let
and
crazy
and
shirt.
Pop on a shirt.
Yeah, they pop on a crazy shirt.
Yeah.
Oh
But-
fuck. All right. Well, we will. Alex, again, appreciate you so much. Love you. Appreciate everything you've ever done for me.
Likewise,
I
man.
couldn't. Well, like I said, wouldn't be where I am today without you. So, can't thank you enough for that.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Big
it's
love.
a lot of fun. I'm excited for this weekend. We're gonna have a good time together.
Yeah.
But thank you to all of you guys that tuned into the episode. If you could, please click that subscribe button for us. That would help us out a ton. Click that like button as well. Comment what you thought below, and we will see you next time.